This is the procedure to set up a letter for mailing to ensure that you have the address block in the correct position for the window. Grab a sheet of paper, an A4 sheet of paper, put it against the DLX envelope, and what happens is a letter can move side to side in the envelope, so you want to make sure that when it does move, the address is still positioned inside the window. And the best way to do that is if you put the letter to the rightmost point and then mark on a blank sheet of paper the edge of the window, then move it to the leftmost point and again mark the leftmost edge of the window. That will give you the area in which the address must be, so that if the sheet does move side to side within the envelope, the address is still visible inside the envelope. So that when you set up, simply measure that area for your window so that your address block must stay within that area. Okay, we're now ready to begin our letter. So the first thing we do is type the letter out. Once you finish typing the letter out, you want to make sure that the address bar, so this area here, is correctly positioned for the window face envelope. And we worked out from our measurements previously that it needs to be indented 30mm from the edge of the sheet at least, and go no more than 100mm over from the left hand side of the sheet. And to do that, in your menu you can work that out by simply going to page layout, looking at your margins. If we go down to custom margins, we'll see what our letter's been set to, and there you can see that the left margin is 2.54 centimetres. Now you need to be at least 3 centimetres, so it needs to be another half a centimetre in, or 5mm. So in order to do that, let's close that window now. We can highlight our address bar, and to drag it across another half a centimetre, you can simply click on the little box underneath those two triangles and drag it across another half a centimetre, even a little bit more to make sure, and that's dragged your address bar across. And we know it's allowed to go at least another 100mm, which will allow us to go from 0.5 to 10.5. So the address is well within range. Sorry, made a mistake. It's another 70mm, so it's allowed to go at least to there. So our address is well within range. It's not a problem. Next, we make sure we have a correctly formatted database. In order to do that, you need to basically have a list of names and addresses in your database, and each of your columns need to be named uniquely so that you can pick up that name, that column or field name as it's called, within your letter. In this case, we've nominated to call these things salutation, first name, last name, address 1 and address 2, which simply is for the purposes where someone's address may extend over a couple of lines. So address 1 may be a unit number, for example, and address 2 might be the street number and street name. Then a suburb, a state, and a postcode. Once we have all that information in an Excel spreadsheet, we simply save that. Okay, we're now ready to link our letter to the database we've just created, and for the purposes of this letter, I've simply replaced the information I had before with some generic names in here, and I'm going to link those generic names to the correct information in the database. To do that, we'll simply go to our menu, select the Mailings tab, go into Select Recipients, and then scroll down to Use Existing List, which allows us to then find the list that we've just created. So if we go into our computer, let's find the correct location for that. And here's our database. Okay, it's now prompting you to nominate which tab in the spreadsheet is the correct one with the data, and by default it goes to the first sheet in the database, so we'll simply select that. Okay, we've now linked to the database. What we can then do is replace the information in here by highlighting and going up to the menu and saying Insert Merge Field. Click on that and we'll put in salutation. You can see what it's done there. Hit the space bar. We'll insert another merge field. First name, space, and then again select last name. We then double click on address 1 and we'll insert address 1. We'll hit the enter key or carriage return. We'll then go to address 2, highlight that. We'll put in address 2. And you can see there, because there is no address 2, it simply collapsed the line. Okay, once we've highlighted the suburb state postcode, we go to Insert Merge Field, put in suburb, Insert Merge Field, state, and postcode. Double click that and go close. Then what we'll do is in between each one we need to put a space or even 2 spaces, just to space those items apart. Okay. Now, if we want to preview those to look at the placeholders, we simply click on this thing that says Preview Results, and you can see here, there are the names of all the fields in those locations. And when you click on that Preview Results, it'll replace it with actual data. You can then scroll through at the top here and see the data change as you go through each record in the database. Now, the next thing you need to change is down here for the salutation. You can either put that down as a generic Dear Sir, Madam, or if you want to put their name once again, go through the same process of Insert Merge Field, put their salutation in, put their first name in, and then put their last name in. Oops, sorry, last name, insert, and then close. And once again, put some spaces in between. That way, when you go through the letter, and you simply, if it's missing a first name, it won't matter. If it's missing a salutation, again it won't matter. So it'll all appear correctly. There you go. And your letter's now ready to go. So you simply file that. So file, save. Save the letter.